तो हम अध्ययन कर रहे हैं दूसरे अध्याय के 32वें श्लोक से।
We are studying second chapter, verse 32 onwards.
कि आपका धर्म
In the
युद्ध करना है और ये स्वधर्म है आपका।
previous session, we learned that Bhagavan told Arjun, your duty is to fight in the war and not desist from it.
प्रकृति पुरुष शरीर शरीरी देह देही इसके बारे में विवेक।
Before that, Bhagavan had talked about the discrimination between body and Atma.
और अब इस शरीर की दृष्टि से बात कर रहे हैं।
Now he is talking from the body point of view. Earlier he had given explanation from the Atma point of view. He had explained to Arjuna, and Bhagavan wants to tell that whether you consider yourself as the body or the Atma, from both points of view, you should not desist from your duty of fighting in the war. Because even if we are Atma, we are still living inside the body, and the body has its own nature and makes us function according to that. Like I had explained, there is computer program and the computer functions according to the program. Similarly, the samskaras that we acquired in childhood and the vasanas that we acquired, they make us function. We all have our own nature, individual nature, and according to that, how we perform the activities, we get the thoughts. Few things we like, few things we don't like. As Bhagavan will tell,
हर एक व्यक्ति की प्रत्येक इंद्रिय का कुछ न कुछ विषय है जो उसको अच्छा लगता है। कुछ
he will tell that every sense has its own vishaya, sense object that it likes and it doesn't like. And likes and dislikes are different for everyone. Some people like some type of food, some people like some other type of food, some people like a particular type of music, others like other type of music. So why do we have such differences? This is due to our nature. And what is the cause behind that nature? One is the vasanas we have acquired from the previous lifetimes, and other is the samskaras that we acquired in childhood. When a person is 3 or 4 years old, he acquires enough samskaras, and by the time he or she is 7 years old, almost 90% of the samskaras are already decided. So our rishis, the sages, they prepared the varna system considering this only. And that system is extremely important. It is very important to understand that whether nowadays we have the varna system or not, but we cannot negate our own swabhava, our own nature. Whether you believe in Bhagavan or no, whether you believe in Shastra or no, but everyone has his own swabhava, his own individual nature, his own prakriti, and one has to accept that. Whether you are a theist or atheist, it doesn't matter. You have to understand that, and it is understanding this is wisdom. One who functions based on this understanding, then one who does not perform based on this wisdom, he will never be happy, never be peaceful. Because one should perform according, one should function according to his nature. Functioning according to, functioning against the swabhava is like functioning against the flow of the river. So if you work against your swabhava, you will have to work very hard and still won't be able to go much ahead. But if you function according to your swabhava, then you will be able to go very much far. So this is the varnashram system. Nowadays we have this so-called propaganda that everyone is equal, we all are one. But this is not the final truth, although it has some element of truth in it. We all are human beings. We all have 2 hands, 2 legs. So in that respect, we all are equal. but we all have our own individual natures. So, like all computers are same because they have a screen, they have a hard disk, memory, etc. The basic construction is same, but the programs inside they are different.
तो जैसे हार्डवेयर है और सॉफ्टवेयर है, तो
So, like we have the
सॉफ्टवेयर आप
hardware
किसी दो
and the
कंप्यूटर से
software.
अगर आपको एक ही
So,
मिलेगा
all computers
तो
have
वही
different
सॉफ्टवेयर को
software. No two
आप
computers will have
जो
exactly the same set of
प्रोग्राम
softwares.
उसमें टाइप करेगा ना, तो बिल्कुल 100% एक तो आपको नहीं मिलेगा।
So, no two computers will have
हार्डवेयर में
exactly same
डिपेंड
set of programs.
कौन सी कंपनी का है उसका
And
डिफरेंस
hardware may also have some differences
ऐसा
based
है
on the
कि
company which has
सॉफ्टवेयर
manufactured
हार्डवेयर
it.
है और उसमें हम
So,
हमारे
like
अंदर जो संस्कार
similarly,
हैं वो
our
सॉफ्टवेयर
body is the hardware
तो
and
दोनों
the
को समझ के
samskaras within,
काम करना
that is
पड़ेगा।
the software. And we have to
धर्म
understand
को
both
समझ कर अगर
and function accordingly. We have to
आप सफल
understand the guna and dharma of both.
अपने जीवन में और सफलता
Then
कैसे
only we
मिलेगी
can achieve
प्रसन्नता
success in
सुख
life.
होना
And what is
बिल्कुल
success?
जीवन
Success is
जीवन
to live
जीवन
happily, be peaceful.
सफलता इसमें नहीं है कि मैं
That is
पैसा
success.
कमा लूँ,
Success is not
धनवान
just
बनूँ,
in earning a lot of wealth.
करोड़पति बनूँ,
Like
अरबपति
nowadays,
बनूँ।
people keep on
लोग
propagating that you
कहते हैं
should
अगर
become a
कॉलेज में पढ़े हुए हैं, अच्छे
big
पोस्ट पे
millionaire
हैं,
or billionaire. But we see that
ये
many of them are
अपने स्वभाव के
currently
अनुसार
in
पैसा
jail
कमाना
and they are
चाहिए।
miserable.
पैसा आपके बाहर ही है, वो
Because
आपके
if you
अंदर
do
नहीं
not
आना
perform
चाहिए।
according to your swabhava and you are not
ये
peaceful,
सिद्धांत
then
भगवान
the
ने
external
दिया
wealth
है।
cannot make you
देखने में
peaceful.
ऐसा लग रहा है
So
कि
Bhagavan is
ठीक है युद्ध
teaching
करो,
this philosophy.
युद्ध करने
Although
से
externally it
स्वभाव
seems that
प्रसन्न
Bhagavan
होगा,
is simply provoking Arjun
स्वधर्म
to engage in the
संस्थापनाय,
war, but
स्वधर्ममपि
telling
चार्षति।
Arjun to engage in his war simply means that he is telling Arjun to perform according
तो
to his
स्वधर्म का
swadharma.
मतलब स्वस्य धर्म है, अपना जो
So
धर्म है।
swadharma means swasya dharma, one's own
स्व का
dharma.
मतलब धन भी होता है,
Swa also
स्व
means
का मतलब अपना आप भी होता है, स्व का मतलब धन भी होता है, इसलिए स्वामी बोलते हैं ना।
Swa also
स्वामी
means
बोलने का
wealth.
मतलब हो जाए जो
That is why we have the
स्व
word
माने
Swami,
धन का
one who is the proprietor of
स्व
wealth.
माने धन
So
और
Swa also
स्वामी
means
हो गया
wealth,
जो उसका
and Swami means
मालिक
one
है।
who is the owner of that wealth.
स्वधर्म का मतलब ये भी होता है कि ये
So
धर्म
Swadharma
हमारा धन है।
also means that this dharma is our
अगर
wealth.
हम इसको नहीं समझेंगे तो हम
If we do not
निधन है,
understand this, then we are
हम
poor
निधन है।
or we are
इसलिए
even
उन्होंने
dead.
कहा था कि स्वधर्ममपि
That
चाव्यति।
is why Bhagavan had told.
तो उसी में फिर आगे बोलते हैं यदृच्छाचोपन्नम
So now Bhagavan
स्वधर्मपार्थम
says,
सुखनः क्षत्रियः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम। हे अर्जुन, वे क्षत्रिय सुखी हैं जिन्हें से युद्ध का अवसर प्राप्त
translation,
होता है।
O Arjun, happy are those
संपूर्ण
Kshatriyas who gain an opportunity for battle such as this. Having arisen of its own
भगवान
accord,
कहते हैं कि
such fortune is an open gate to
जो
heaven.
बगैर किसी प्रयत्न के आपको मिल गया है,
So
इसका
Bhagavan
मतलब
says
समझिए कि जो आपको
that
सुख
you
मिल
have
गया है उसी
got it
अनुसार ही
without
आपको चलना
endeavor.
है।
It's like telling
ऐसा
that
भी है
you get a job which is according to your
तो भगवान
swabhava,
बताते हैं
even
इसका
without
आपका
you
स्वभाव
having endeavored for
मतलब
that.
मानिए कि आपका
Mostly people do not even know
इसमें
their
जो
swabhava, their nature,
नौकरी मिल जाए
but assume that you get a
तो
job
आनंद आएगा
which
कि
is
इसमें
based
मुझे
on
मिल
your
रहा है।
swabhava. Then how much happiness you will derive
स्वधर्म
from
मिल
that.
रहा है,
So
सुख मिल
that
रहा है।
is an open gate to
स्वर्ग का
heaven.
स्थान विशेष भी है,
Swarga
लेकिन स्वर्ग का
is
थोड़ा
a
लेने
place
लेने
also,
समझते
heaven,
हैं।
but Swarga also means
यदृच्छामपि
happiness.
अभिलाषोपनीतम च तत्स्वपद आस्पद तत्सुखम स्वपद आस्पद, यानी कि जिसमें दुख नहीं होता है,
It means that which does not
वहाँ
have
पे जिस
suffering in it,
सुख को आप चाहते हैं वो आपको मिल जाता है।
and you
उस
get
सुख को
what is according
सुख
to your
कहते
own
हैं।
desire. That kind of happiness is
तो
called
भगवान भी
Swarga.
कहते हैं 11वें अध्याय
So
में
Bhagavan also says in the 11th
सर्वसत्व
chapter,
उदय। ये स्वर्ग क्या है? जब सत्व का उदय होता है और सत्व
Swarga
में
is arising of
जहाँ दुख
Sattva,
शांत रहता है,
and in Sattva, a person
तो ये
becomes
कहते हैं कि
peaceful.
स्वर्ग का द्वार खुला हुआ है आपके लिए, स्वर्ग
So
द्वार
Bhagavan
खोल
is
दिया।
telling the gate
तो
to
जैसे
heaven is
सुख का
open for
द्वार
you.
खुला हुआ है, आप उसमें घुस जाइए।
So it is just like saying the
स्वर्गाधिपति
gate to
भव
happiness is
उसमें
open
धकेल दीजिए।
and you enter into that. And if you do not want to enter, at least
द्वार
push
खुला हुआ
others
है,
into that. Because if the door is
आपके अंदर
open
सुख है,
and the room
तो आप
inside
जाइए।
is full of
आप
happiness,
नहीं जाना
then
चाहते हैं तो
you
दूसरों को
enter
जाने
there.
दीजिए।
And if you do not want to
ऐसे
enter, send others
कितने
there.
जो क्षत्रिय युद्ध में मारे जाते हैं स्वर्ग जाते
Because you
हैं,
must have
पापी लोग
heard
नहीं मरते
that
स्वर्ग जाते हैं, वो
Kshatriyas who die in the battle,
परम
they
में
go
गए
to
हैं।
Swarga. And this is yadrichaya, it has arisen of its own accord. By good fortune, you have not endeavored for that, because Arjun did not even, the Pandavas did not want to fight only, but this opportunity to fight has come. So it is like a Brahman who gets opportunity to do yajna, get bhandara, or get donation. So similarly for Kshatriya, or if a Brahman he gets an opportunity to receive knowledge somewhere, so the way he gets happiness, similarly Kshatriya also gets happiness. So Bhagavan is telling that it is like the door of heaven having opened for you. So you should be feel very happy for that. In Veda, it is mentioned Swarga Kamo Yajet, that if you want to go to Swarga, do perform yajna. So in that you will have to perform a lot of endeavor. You will have to collect lot of items, but and still there will be, it will be doubtful whether you will achieve Swarga or no, because there may be some defect in that yajna. But in this battlefield, there is no doubt, because even if you die, you just achieve heaven. So for Kshatriya, this is a matter of great happiness. That's why Bhagavan is telling that you should perform your own dharma. This is called Gunatantra, meritocracy. So everywhere people are fighting for reservations of seats for various posts, reservation based on gender, based on caste. But this meritocracy is against that. Because according to meritocracy, one should be engaged based on his merit. If somebody does not have the merit for that, does not have the guna dharma for that, doesn't have the requisite swabhava, and if you engage that person in that job, then there will be no fruitful result. He will not be able to perform properly. Like I'll give you an example. Here in Mathura, the district court which is there, from the last 40 days, no work has been performed in that court, because I have a pending case in that court. From since the last 2 months, I have been continuously inquiring. So the head of the bar association there, they keep finding some excuse for not working. So they give some excuse that today Hema Malini will file her nomination papers for election, or Yogi Adityanath, the chief minister, is coming, and or now the Ramadan month is going on. So 1 month there was no work, and then they decided that since it is already Thursday, let it remain closed for another 2 days anyway. And then when it is Monday, then they find another excuse for not functioning. So from this we can understand that it is not their swabhava to perform in this role. Because if it would have been their swabhava, they would not be finding excuses for not working. Because when you engage a person in any job which is not according to his swabhava, he tries to escape from the work or becomes corrupt. As Bhagavan will tell later, that you have adhikar in karma, but you cannot control the phala or fruit of that karma. What is corruption? Corruption means the person does not want to work, but he wants the result of the work. That is called corruption. So everybody wants result, that we should get wealth or we should get promotion in the job, but they do not want to work. So this is the root of corruption. And what is the root cause of that? You are not functioning according to your swabhava. Because if you perform according to your swabhava, nobody will have to order you to do your job. Here Bhagavan is ordering Arjun, he is telling Arjun, because this is a temporary situation and it will not continue. That is why Bhagavan is telling Arjun that you are making a mistake. Later you will have to repent for that. Later Bhagavan will be telling that this determination of yours that I will not fight in the war, this what you have told, that is mithya, because it is your prakriti, your swabhava, which will force you to engage in the war. You cannot escape from your own nature. The nature will, everyone's individual nature forces that person to function accordingly. If somebody is a businessman and you make him a doctor, he will definitely end up selling kidney. He will find some excuse to do business in that function also. So it is said in Hindi, which means that a sadhu, a thief became a sadhu, but then how can he give up his nature of stealing? Some people have that nature of stealing. So at the night time, when the other sadhus used to sleep, so this sadhu, who was earlier a thief, he just used to keep their lotas here and there. He just used to change their positions. So every day he used to do that. So one day a person thought that why is this happening? So he remained awake at night and he was observing what that this sadhu is changing the positions of everyone's objects. So when he was asked why are you doing this, he said that I was a thief earlier, so I can't help. Although I am not stealing, but I am forced by my nature. That's why I just keep their objects here and there. It's due to my nature. So it is very difficult for anyone to give up his own acquired nature, the swabhava. So Bhagavan is teaching that here, that we should try to understand our swabhava and we should learn how to engage that nature in dharma. So in our life also, sometimes such situations come up. They just come up of their own accord. So some people they wonder how did this situation come up. Many devotees they wonder how did I become a devotee. So whatever was the cause, now that you are a devotee, uh, try to engage in it properly. Don't keep wondering that I did not plan, but then how did I become a devotee? So that is yadrichaya, that is mercy of Bhagavan. So it is not that you do not have any role in that. Bhagavan's mercy is there in that. And you might have had some purva vasana of bhakti in yourself and that got activated. So that's why here Bhagavan is telling that those Kshatriyas are happy who gain an opportunity for such type of battle. So why do they become happy? Because if you get an opportunity to do something according to your swarupa, then definitely you will be happy. But if you are asked to do something that is against your swarupa or swabhava, then definitely you will feel miserable. So it is the swabhava, it is the nature of a kshatriya. Here kshatriya does not mean that just being born in the kshatriya dynasty, but it is this swabhava. So I had heard a story earlier that when Akbar was ruling his kingdom in Delhi, then he was ruling almost the entire North India. So the local kings, the local rulers here were under Akbar, and the army that he had, there were Kshatriyas also in that because those Kshatriyas were that time subordinate to Akbar. So Kshatriyas used to also go to him, telling that keep me in your army. So once two young Kshatriya princes they went to his court, and they said that we want to join your army. Akbar asked, what is your quality? How do I understand that you are a warrior? Do you have any certificate? How can you prove that? Like if today if you want to apply for a job, then you have to submit your CV. So Akbar, so those princes, they said that you want to see our certificate, we will show here itself. So both of them pulled out their sword because they were Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas used to carry sword along with them. Like the villagers, they used to carry sticks along with them. When they used to earlier sit in the buses, I have seen they used to keep their sticks with themselves. It was a system. Any villager, even if he went to the field, he used to carry his stick with himself. So similarly, the Kshatriyas, when they used to go outside, they used to have the sword with themselves. So they pulled out the swords and they started fighting there itself. And as they continued fighting, they killed both of them killed each other,
और खुशी खुशी मर गए।
and they died very happily.
तो अकबर तो डर गया है देखकर।
But Akbar became scared that what
इससे
happened.
पहले कि उनको रोकता है वो तो
Before Akbar could stop them, they suddenly they started fighting, and both were very fighting very
दोनों
happily.
ही मर
They
गए।
were smiling, and both of them died.
दोनों ही एक दूसरे को तलवार घोंप कर मार दिया। तो अकबर को बड़ा आश्चर्य हुआ, डर भी लगा, ये
So
हो क्या रहा है,
Akbar
तो
was
फिर
very
मानसिंह
surprised
को
and he was scared also,
ये जो
because the king Mansingh was under him.
मानसिंह ने
This
बनवाया था,
this Govindji
उससे
temple
प्रेरित
was
हुआ
constructed by the king Raja Mansingh. So Akbar asked him, "What happened? What is this?" So the king told Akbar that you made a great mistake. You asked them to show their certificate. They are Kshatriyas. They are always Kshatriya is always ready to die.
कोई परवाह नहीं।
They don't care for their life.
ऐसे ही होते थे पहले।
Kshatriyas were like this only earlier.
यहाँ उत्तर भारत में एक काव्य
Here in North India, there is a
बोलते हैं, आपने तो शायद
kavya.
सुना होगा। बचपन में
It's called Alauddin
पढ़ा था
Kavya.
उसको।
Earlier in childhood, I had read it many times.
मुगल नाम के दो व्यक्ति हुए थे यहाँ
So they used to say that Allah and Udar were some two people. They were very brave. It is the time of Prithviraj Chauhan. So there the battle is described in the local language. So in that there is a verse called Doha in Hindi. So it explains that when there was a fight, how did the king inspire the other one to fight? Now, if you hear this, you will start laughing, but this is how a Kshatriya's Ahankara was always activated.
12 साल
So that says,
और 20 साल तक क्षत्रिय जीव है, आगे जीने को धिक्कार। तो कहता है कि कुत्ता जो है वो 8
so he says that dog lives till 8 years
सियार गीदड़ 12
and the wolf lives till 12 years and Kshatriya till 20 years.
तो उसका जीवन ही धिक्कार है। क्षत्रिय
If a Kshatriya is living beyond 20 years of age, then his life is waste.
अब जो कोई बचपन से ऐसे सुनता हो आएगा।
So now if somebody has heard such statements from childhood, that Kshatriya will think that living long is a curse to me. It's a waste of my life.
श्लोक है ना कि आत्मा के लिए पृथ्वी को भी छोड़ दो।
So there is a verse which says that to save the Atma, be ready to give up the whole earth also. But this is not applicable to Kshatriya. Kshatriyas don't follow this.
एक आदमी को आप बलिदान दे सकते
So it is said that to save a family, you can sacrifice to
जनपद की रक्षा के लिए एक गांव का बलिदान दे सकते हैं।
to save a village, you can sacrifice one family. To save a janpad, you can sacrifice one village also. But to save yourself, you can give up the whole earth also. But Kshatriya's case is not like this, because Kshatriya says that we live for others, for protecting others.
जो दूसरों की रक्षा करता है,
One who protects others, gives protection to others. So this is the life of a Kshatriya. This is his happiness.
प्रजापालक बोलते। तो उसी का वर्णन यहाँ भगवान
He is the protector of the praja.
क्षत्रिय पार्था लभन्ते।
So that's what Bhagavan is telling here
क्षत्रिय लोग तो
to Arjun, that
युद्ध ढूंढते हैं।
Arjun, happy are those Kshatriyas who gain an opportunity for battle such as this. And how come you are telling that I will not fight? So this is very surprising to me, because the battle for a Kshatriya, battle is same as it is a yajna for a Brahmana. So for a Kshatriya, this is the yajna. It is a righteous war. It is a dharma yuddha. So even if you die fighting in this war, you will straight, you will go to heaven. The door to heaven is open for you. And this description is there in Mahabharata also. When Yudhishthir Maharaj he went to Swarga, he had to heaven, he saw that Duryodhan was already there. So he was surprised. How did Duryodhan come here? Because he was an irreligious person, was an adharmika. So just like sannyasis, they achieve moksha. Similarly, Kshatriyas, they achieve heaven. But there are rules in this, in such righteous wars. Here there were rules. The rule was that if somebody is afraid of fighting in the war and he is leaving the war, or if somebody is a coward, if there is a woman, and if somebody is standing with folded hands, or if somebody opens his hair, then these are symptoms. That is also a symptom the person does not want to fight. Or if somebody sits and says that I surrender to you, or if somebody is lying down, or if someone does not have weapons in his hand, he is empty handed, or his chariot has broken down, or horses have become very tired, and he doesn't have weapons in his hand, and one who is not ready for the battle, or one who has become highly wounded fighting in the war. So killing such a person has been considered as adharma, against the rules of war. So one should not fight with people in such situations. So all such rules were followed by both parties earlier in the war, not like what is done today, that you go in the night and do something. And earlier, the innocent citizens of the country, they were not killed. Nowadays, what happens is that when an army wins, they start torturing, exploiting the citizens of that place. So earlier, this was not done. The battle was fought only among the armies, and the rules were declared beforehand in advance, that this will be the such and such will be the time for starting the war. The conch will be blown to indicate the start of the war. Like in a temple, when the arti begins, we blow the conch to indicate that the arti is beginning now. And at the end also, conch is blown to indicate that the arti has ended. So similarly, for ending the war also, conch was blown. So here also we found description that Pitama, Bhishma, etc., they blew their conches. That was mentioned in the first chapter. First of all, Bhishma, he blew his conch and said and indicated that we are ready for the war. So earlier the system was that both sides of the battle had to blow their conches to indicate that they are ready for the war. So then further he says in verse 33, translation, if however you do not engage in this righteous battle, then forsaking your duty and reputation, you will incur sin. So in the previous verse, Bhagavan explained the benefit of engaging in the war that will accrue to Arjuna. And Bhagavan said that you are a Kshatriya, so you will derive happiness. So if a person performs any activity, then what is intelligence? What is wisdom? Intelligence or wisdom lies in analyzing the risk, the benefit, the potential benefit and loss in performing that activity or in not performing that activity. So an intelligent person performs this analysis before starting the activity.
वो ही होता है, वो ऐसा कार्य करता है जिसको करने से उसको
Intelligent person performs only that activity which is beneficial and which will not accrue any loss to him.
समझा रहे हैं।
So Bhagavan is explaining from both points of view. In the previous verse, he told that what you will achieve by fighting in the war.
और उससे आपको स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति होगी, कीर्ति भी प्राप्त होगी।
So he said that you perform your swadharma and you will achieve heaven, good reputation. Now he is telling if you do not engage, then what will happen?
तो पहले तो आप युद्ध रूपी धर्म का त्याग
So what will happen is, first of all, you will end up forsaking your duty, and that will be sinful. Because what is sin and piety? If you perform dharma, if you act according to dharma, that is punya, that is piety. And if you do not perform according to dharma, then that is sin, that is papa. So you will end up not only forsaking your duty, but your reputation will also get destroyed. Because Arjun is such a great warrior, and he was one of the greatest warriors of his time.
महादेव को उसने संतुष्ट किया था,
He had even satisfied Bhagavan Shiva.
इंद्र की भी सहायता की थी,
He had even helped Indra,
उनके साथ युद्ध करके उनको
fought by fighting against the Asura Nivat Kavach. So he had given protection to Indra, because Indra himself was finding himself unable to fight with that Asura. So Indra was so happy with Arjun that he gave the Kirita to Arjun. That's why Arjun is known as Kiriti. He made Arjun sit on his own asan, on his own seat, and gave the half of the seat to Arjun. So it's a matter of great honor that a king makes you sit on his own seat. So this was the fame that Arjun had achieved even in Swarga. And now if Arjun leaves the battlefield, then it is obvious that his reputation will get destroyed and he will end up forsaking his duty. So these are the disadvantages of not fighting the war that Bhagavan is explaining. And then how will Arjun have to spend the rest of his life? That will be by begging, because you need something to sustain the life. So what reputation, what respect will you get by doing that? Because for a Kshatriya, it is adharma, it is sinful to live on begging. It is okay for Brahmana, but not for Kshatriya. And if you desist from the war, it is not guaranteed that you will live only, because they may even kill you, because they are anyway not following dharma. So while you run away from the battle, that time also they can kill you. They will always try to find an opportunity of killing you. So if you escape from the battle, you will go to hell. But if you engage in the battle, then you go to heaven. And the biggest sin will be that you will end up cheating your own brothers. Because your brothers, Arjun's brothers, the four Pandavas, they were depending on Arjun, because everyone knew that Arjun is a great warrior. So they have placed lot of faith in Arjun, in his strength. So if you escape from the battlefield, what will your brothers think about you? That you betrayed them, you betrayed their trust. And betraying somebody's trust is a big sin, that too with your own brothers. And what will be the impact? What will be the effect on others? What will they think? What will the citizens of the country think? Whatever actions a great man performs, that action has lot of impact on the common citizens of the country. When any person wants to perform any activity, he looks for some ideal, some great person who might have performed the same activity. So the common Kshatriyas, they will say in future that see Arjun, such a great warrior, he escaped from the battle, so why can I not escape?
अधर्म का प्रवर्तन करने में भी भागी हूँ.
So Arjun, so Bhagavan is telling Arjun that you will also become implicated in the sin of
अगर आप
preaching adharma, preaching sin.
होगा कि आप
And if you fight in the war, then what will be the benefit? You will be following your own duty. If you die, you go to Swarga.
और आपको राज्य
And if you continue living, you get the kingdom.
अपने क्षत्रिय धर्म का पालन करें,
And
प्रजा का
you can continue to follow your Kshatriya dharma.
लोगों को धर्म में लगाइए, तो उससे कितनी
So you should continue to perform your Kshatriya dharma, engage and supervise the citizens of your countries so that they keep following their own dharma. Because society needs a good leader.
धातु से इसलिए बना जैसे हमारे नेत्र है, वो भी नींद
So neta from ni prapne dhatu, it's like we have netra, like we see,
नेता भी वही होता है जो हमको एक
we see and walk.
देता है.
So neta, politician or leader is one who shows the right path
तो
for the common citizens of the country.
अनासुनती बहु
But if the neta, the leader himself is corrupt,
नायक नहीं होता है, उनका विनाश हो जाता है. और बहुत
those people who do not have a good leader, they get destroyed.
उनका विनाश क्योंकि वो नायक ही आपस में लड़ेंगे.
And if there are too many leaders, then also they get destroyed because the leaders end up fighting among themselves only.
नेता है समाज के,
So you are the leader
एक बहुत
in society, you have a very important position.
स्थान प्रस्तुत
So you will end up setting a very wrong example.
समाज के श्रेष्ठ व्यक्ति होते हैं,
The good leaders, the good politicians in the society,
अपनी भलाई के लिए ही नहीं,
they do not perform they do not act just for their own benefit. They also think that whatever I am doing, what effect, what impact will it have on the society in general, especially the kings.
हिंदी में
They used to think like this.
से ही आता है आपका राजा तथा प्रजा. जैसा राजा होता है वैसे ही प्रजा हो जाती है.
So in general,
अगर राजा
the common citizens of the country act or behave according to, they emulate the behavior of the king himself.
प्रजा तो अधर्म
If the king becomes irreligious, does not follow dharma, then the citizens also stop following dharma.
युद्ध करने के लिए
That is why
ये सब विचार कीजिए.
you should think, you should deliberate
आपको क्या हानि है और
on the benefits of acting in the war, of engaging in the war, and the losses, the disadvantages of not engaging in the war.
सकता है.
And you are a kshatriya. A kshatriya is ready to die an honorable death in the war, but he cannot live with dishonor, with infamy.
पूर्वक क्षत्रिय जीना चाहेगा.
A kshatriya will always like to live honorably and also die an honorable death.
मान के सहित
But a kshatriya can never tolerate insult.
मिले तो प्राप्त.
Even if he gets a kingdom
क्षत्रिय ऐसा ही होता है.
in a very
का एक बहुत बड़ा
not in an honorable way, having been insulted. So kshatriya has his own ahankara,
और इस
and they act according to that ahankara. So that is why they are even ready to
उस तरह
lay down their life
उनका कि वो अहंकार जो
for the sake of that ahankara.
कल्याण में लगाए.
But their ahankara is nurtured in such a way that they perform their kshatriya dharma to protect the society, to nurture the society. So this is a very important point that Bhagavan is making here, which nowadays is not very much recognized in the society. That what are the qualities of a good leader, good politician.
नेता है,
So Arjun is the leader,
भगवान ये सब शिक्षा उसको दे रहे हैं.
and that is why Bhagavan is giving these teachings to him. So for a neta, for a leader, losing his fame, reputation
छिद्रावेशन
is a great loss, because in society people keep looking for faults in others,
स्वाभाविक रुचि होती है.
especially in the leaders. This is the nature
और कोई भी अपनी
of human being, and nobody likes to hear his own criticism, but everyone likes very much to criticize others.
करना हमारा स्वभाव नहीं है.
It is not in our nature to praise others.
हम विवश होकर करते हैं.
If at all we praise others, that is also out of compulsion, because we have to do that. The situation is such that we have to praise others.
कहीं पर कोई समाज लगा हो,
If there is some
की प्रशंसा करते हैं.
if there is some occasion,
लोग फिर हमारी प्रशंसा करें.
People praise others with the expectation that they will also be praised in return. Actually, nobody has a taste in praising others. The taste is in criticizing others. If somebody is not criticizing, that also he is not criticizing just out of the fear of being punished or fearing getting criticism back, but that person also criticizes in hiding. Nowadays it is the age of internet. You can do a lot in the age of internet. Nobody is coming to check your identity. You can create fake IDs and you can do whatever you like, and you can keep writing about others. So internet is full of criticism. So that's why Bhagavan is telling that if you do not engage in this war, others will criticize you. Bhagavan will tell some more verse for this, because this is a very important subject matter, this subject of praise and criticism, because it is related to human beings' nature. Arjun is thinking mistakenly that if I escape from the war, people will praise me. Because whenever a person does something, he does it with the expectation that he will be praised. But often human beings make mistake in analyzing how people will react. You people will not borrow your spectacle to see your vision. And people will magnify your faults.
तो अर्जुन जो है वो सोच रहा है कि
So Arjun is thinking that it is against dharma to fight in the war. And another thing is that Bhagavan on the other side is telling that it is sinful to give up one's own dharma. So that analysis has been done here. That he should fight in the war or not fight in the war. So in our life, we often face such situations where we find it very difficult to take a decision whether we should do this or do that. What should we do? And we may feel that both are acts of dharma, or we may feel that both are acts of adharma, or maybe one is dharma, one is adharma. So such situations come up in our life. So we find such statements in Shastra also, that one side Shastra says that do not commit violence, but then there is mention of killing animals in Yagyas also. So lot of deliberation has done in Mimamsa to understand this. So here also there is a Mimamsa. On one side, Arjun is having such a situation that he has to kill his grandsire, his guru. On the other side, he is a Kshatriya. He is and he is 100% Kshatriya. So how can he give up his duty? So mostly today, the people who talk of world peace, since these two world wars happened, people's inclination has turned towards not fighting in the, not engaging in war. Everybody is talking of peace, which is good, but sometimes even engaging in or doing war becomes dharma, because then peace may get destroyed by not fighting the war. That is also possible. So like this, Mimamsa has to be done. So Bhagavan is giving the different point of view to Arjun, because generally people think that Bhagavan provoked Arjun to fight in the war. This question is often raised, that why did Bhagavan give such teachings to Arjun because Arjun was a peace loving person. But and why people ask like this? Because people have been taught like this. The Buddhism and Jainism were preached in this country, and they talk of non-violence. And because of that, people have got such mentality that violence is wrong. Yes, violence is wrong, but not in every situation. In some situations, violence may be correct. Where in a situation where you have to oppose your enemy, you have to protect yourself from your enemy. In that situation, if you remain non-violent, then the result will lead to even more violence, because the other people, they are not thinking like that, that we should not do violence. So we should think about this also. Bhagavan doesn't have any special interest in this war. Bhagavan had come for peace, and even he had gone to the court of Dhritarashtra as a peace messenger. But when he found that the other party is not ready for a peaceful solution, then war is the only option. That is one point. And the other point that Bhagavan is making is that war is in your nature, so you cannot give it up. So whatever situation has now arrived, that you have, there is a war going to happen. But more important than that, Bhagavan is talking of swabhava, and everyone has a swabhava. Arjun is one person, and it is his own individual nature. It is his swabhava, his swadharma as a kshatriya to fight in war. But each of us, every one of us has his own, our own swabhava. So Bhagavan will continue this point later also. So time and again, Arjun will keep asking, why are you engaging me in such a terrible war? So Bhagavan will tell that sannyas is one path and karma yoga is also another path, but both have different eligibility. So we have to check what is our qualification, what is our eligibility, and we have to act according to our eligibility. If we act according to the other person's qualification, then it will lead to a lot of problems, and there will be chaos in the society, and it will lead to fall down of the society. If we do not perform, do not act according to our swabhava, then whatever we will do, it will be without interest. We will become escapist. But we all want result. We want phala. So that is what Bhagavan is teaching here, to continue acting according to Swadharma. And till verse 37, Bhagavan will continue to speak on this subject. So we'll stop here. If you have any question, you can ask.
माइक ले लो माइक
जैसे ये हमारा अपने स्वभाव के विषय में किया तो अपने स्वभाव को जानने के लिए ऐसे तो बहुत मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन हमारा जो ज्योतिष में जो कुंडली होती है हॉस्पिटल होता है वो हमारा जो लग्न वगैरह ऐसे होता है, वहाँ से काफ़ी कुछ जानकारी मिलती है। तो क्या ये सभी को उसकी हेल्प लेनी चाहिए?
हाँ, हेल्प जहाँ से भी हेल्प मिल जाए वो लेनी चाहिए। उसमें क्या मतलब ज्योतिष से आपको पता चलता है कोई अच्छा है तो वही स्वभाव के बारे में।
So how do we understand? The question was, how do we understand our swabhava? So you can understand by taking help from wherever. Maybe you can use Jyotish for that.
और किसी का कोई प्रश्न नहीं तो पूछ। दीपक जी का प्रश्न है, हाउ डज वन नो व्हाट इज वंस नेचर बिकॉज नाउअडेज देयर इज नो वर्णाश्रम। तो ये बहुत बड़ी समस्या है कि वर्णाश्रम सिस्टम।
So the question, how does one know what is one's nature? Because nowadays there is no varnashram. So answer, this is a big problem. Varnashram has been almost destroyed. It is very difficult to understand our own swabhava.
उसका एक तरीका तो जैसे इन्होंने पूछा ज्योतिष।
So like the earlier devotee asked, can we take help of Jyotish Shastra to understand our swabhava? So yes, if there is somebody who understands Jyotish very nicely, you can tell you your swabhava based on your kundali, your birth chart. Another thing is that you can also yourself deliberate on that, because as I said, swabhava, one's nature, is means whatever you do, you should derive, you should have taste for that, you should derive happiness in that, should not feel bored in that. So like, so when a person is doing something according to Swabhava, he will not leave that activity and take up something else. So you yourself have to do self-analysis and try to understand what you like to do and what you do not like to do. Do you feel like taking a holiday from that activity? So you have to deliberate yourself. The other person will not be able to tell you about that. And if there is an activity which, for if you do not perform and you become restless, then it must be in your swabhava. Like people nowadays say about hobby. What is hobby? Hobby is nothing but swabhava only. Nobody tells you to do activities according to your hobby. You do on your own and you derive happiness in that. That is what you call as hobby. This whole concept of hobby has come up from swabhava only. So that is his swabhava, is nature. So you have to deliberate on that, analyze that and find out.
हाँ, तो उसमें मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ उसमें तो मेरा कोई नियंत्रण नहीं। स्वभाव और आदत में क्या अंतर है?
So next question, what is the difference between swabhava and habit? Habit is formed by repeatedly performing an activity. Then it becomes a habit. For example, some people have the habit of smoking cigarette or consuming wine. So this is not swabhava. Nobody is born with that. Nobody is a born smoker or a born drunkard. But he has acquired because of the wrong association. According to one's association, one starts acquiring samskaras and performing accordingly, and then that becomes his habit. Whatever your indriyas then contact, and you start deriving rasa in that. So it means it was that swabhava was not there to begin with, but later it may become kind of a swabhava. So as I said earlier, when we are born, we have some vasanas from previous life. And later there may be some change based on our association. So then it becomes a habit.
अब हमारे वर्तमान जीवन के अंदर बहुत सारे संघर्ष हैं, लेकिन इसमें से साधना करने के लिए हम लोग जब कुछ भी खड़े होते हैं, नहाकर स्नान आदि करके पवित्र होकर बैठ रहे हैं, तो स्नान के लिए नहीं होता, लेकिन कई स्थान में मच्छर बहुत होते हैं, तो मच्छरों का अटैक, तो वो एक युद्ध की तरह ही हो गया अभी हम तो तो ऐसे केस में क्या करें कि
मच्छरों से बचाव करो नहीं तो आपको मलेरिया हो जाएगा। रक्षा करने का अधिकार है आपको।
Everyone has the right to protect himself. So you protect yourself from the mosquitoes. You have problem. It is your right to protect yourself.
So एक प्रश्न है, नेचर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक और क्वालिटीज मीन द सेम। पहले तो हिंदी की क्लास है, प्रश्न अंग्रेजी में पूछ रहे हैं आपको, तो हिंदी में नेचर को स्वभाव बोलते हैं, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक और क्वालिटी का
So स्वभाव is nature, characteristics and qualities are guna.
तो स्वभाव का मतलब है यहाँ पे अंग्रेजी में इसको बोलते हैं टेंडेंसी।
In English, स्वभाव can be called as tendency, nature, and guna is the quality, like it is the guna of sugar to be sweet.
कैरेक्टरिस्टिक अगर आप बोलते हैं तो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक भी बोल सकते हैं स्वभाव को।
You can call स्वभाव as characteristic also.
कुछ शब्दों का प्रयोग जो है किसी विशेष अर्थ में किया जाता है।
Sometimes some words are used with a special meaning. Otherwise, you have to clarify what do you mean by characteristic. I am not sure what you mean by that. So question, can स्वभाव nature be changed? Answer, yes, it can be changed, and that's what Bhagavan is trying. Further on, Bhagavan will be telling that our indriyas, the senses, have their raga and dvesha. So Bhagavan there is talking about controlling them.
इसको परिवर्तित किया जा सकता है, लेकिन उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी आराम से।
So it can be changed, but you have to work hard for that.
और वेल्थ दोनों ही पसंद हो तो स्वभाव क्या है?
So question, if somebody likes both knowledge and wealth, what is his swabhava? So swabhava means he wants to acquire knowledge also and wealth also. I do not have a list of swabhavas, but we know like there is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
मतलब आपके अंदर ब्राह्मणत्व भी है और वैश्यत्व।
So what you are asking, it means you have some Brahmanatva and Kshatriyatva, both qualities in you. So Bhagavan earlier Arjun was telling of Varna Sankar. So what you are telling, that is Varna Sankar, mixed Varna. So nowadays mostly we do not have Varnas of pure Varnas. Mostly people have mixed Varnas.
लक्ष्य के लिए स्वभाव की उसमें
क्या मतलब
गोल सेटिंग के लिए
तो आएगा अभी, आप चिंता क्यों कर रहे हैं, आ जाएगा। स्वभाव आगे के साथ चेंज हो जाता है, एज के साथ चेंज हो जाता है, जब हमें डिफरेंट लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस होते हैं।
So question, when we face different experiences in life, does swabhava undergo change? So yes, that is also a swabhava, to change according to experiences in life. Here Bhagavan is not talking about that. Actually, what changes with life experience is not swabhava, but it is our samarthya, capability, that changes. Like according as the body starts aging, our capability changes, because changing swabhava is not so easy. If somebody's intelligence functions, if somebody is more inclined to acquire knowledge, somebody is more inclined to acquire wealth. So as his age progresses, it does not mean that tendency gets destroyed or it declines. He may not have as much capability as he had in young age, but that does not mean that the swabhava has changed. So capability is different, swabhava is different.
Namaskaram. Does working in alignment with one's swabhava help?
So question, does working in alignment with one's swabhava help a person advance spiritually?
अपने स्वभाव के अनुसार काम करता है तो क्या उससे उसको आध्यात्मिक मार्ग में अग्रसर होने में सहायता मिलेगी? हाँ, अवश्य मिलेगी।
So answer, yes, definitely. And the reason is, if you are performing according to your swabhava, your nature, then your mind will be peaceful, you will be happy, and with that peaceful mind, whatever sadhana you have in your spiritual path, you will be able to do it nicely. Because many times people perform some job in the office and they do not like that job, so they often remain irritated. So with an irritated mind, you cannot do your sadhana properly. So it is always good to engage in a job which is according to swabhava. So does swabhava depend on sattva, rajas and tamas? Answer, yes. As I told in the previous class, that the main cause is sattva, rajas, tamas. The material nature is made of these three. So in our mind, ahankara, chitta, in everything there are these three gunas. There is nothing in this world which is not of these three gunas. Like we study in Ayurveda, the swabhava which is told there, what they talk about gunas. So all the solutions given in Ayurveda, they are all connected with this sattva, rajas, tamas. Vat, pitta, kapha is also connected with that. So question, sattva, rajas, tamas keep changing in a person, then why is it difficult to change swabhava? So this is what you are thinking. Sattva, rajas, tamas do not change. They may keep going up and down, but their average level remains same. If a person is sleeping, will be in tamas only. If there is no tamas, how will a sattvic person sleep? So according to timing also, they change. Everything has its own effect, but that does not mean that your swabhava has changed. Your swabhava, whatever it is, it will remain same only. When you wake up, you will perform your usual activities only.
गुणों से ही होता है। अगर रजोगुण नहीं होगा तो युद्ध कैसे करेंगे?
If there is no rajoguna, how will one fight in the war? And he will remain seated. Why will he engage in the war? The gunas do not remain fixed all the time. Day and night they change. At night there is tamas, that is why you can sleep. So Kshatriya will also sleep or no? If he will remain in rajas, he cannot sleep, then he will go mad, he will go crazy. So now Arjuna has got into dejection. by seeing all this in front of him, he has got into tamas. That does not mean his swabhava has changed.
अहंकार के कारण अगर तुम सोच रहे हो ना कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, कहता है तुम्हारा बेकार की बात है. थोड़ी देर बाद
So Bhagavan told Arjun that what you are telling you will not fight in the war is all nonsense. It is just temporary. So temporarily, by some situation, a person may become angry. Let's say he is hungry. That does not mean it is in his swabhava to always be angry. It moves in waves. So there is a general level of water in the ocean, but there are waves. But just because there are waves does not mean the level of ocean itself has changed. So question, why is it difficult to change swabhava? It is difficult because with what will you change? How will your swabhava change? Whatever you will use to change your swabhava is seated in that only. So even if you come to bhakti, still swabhava does not change easily. Some people, they like to go outside only. Some people like to make money in the path of bhakti also. According to situation, how your swabhava will manifest, that is a different point. But the person in general is acting according to swabhava only. If you are actually really surrendered and work according to the instruction of Guru, only then your swabhava will change. I never said that it cannot change, but it is not easy to change. It is difficult. It is very difficult to surpass one's own swabhava. Bhagavan will also speak this.
कर्म सापेक्ष और कर्म निरपेक्ष में क्या अंतर है, ये आप साधक संजीवनी टीका पढ़िए स्वामी राम से.
So question, what is the difference between current sapeksh and nirpeksh? To answer for that, you study the Sadhak Sanjeevani Tika of Swami Ram Sukdas ji.
ठीक है.
So we'll recite the prayer verses.
सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः इच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयः स्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च गोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजंघ्रे। भवे भवे यथा भक्तिर पादेस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।